Okay, my next phase here is I'm going to start try to get my front bumper brackets on. I took a lot of time when I took them off the car. When I sandblasted them, primed them, painted them. I made sure I kept them in the same position. See how nice? Oh man, they're nice. Just even the bolts, as I showed you yesterday. Same thing with the bolts. I wire brushed them first, soak them in acid, got them really rust free, and then primed them and painted them. When we put it all together, we will touch them up. And here we go again. Discarded surgical towels. They throw some. I take them home and wash them. They're too nice to use for regular rags, unless I'm doing something kind of clean. The doctor was really adamant that I do not use my left arm, even though it feels pretty good. And my son's working part-time at a ski lodge today. I can't do too many things right now. I got a lot of parts coming. So I'm going to try to get this at least set up and see how nice I got everything all ready to go. Fortunately, I had everything all prepared months ago. Paint's nice and hardened by now, so it won't mar. There again, the old cardboard hot water heater cardboard comes in handy for things. Okay, so again, I did put a rag up in there because I know I just don't want to chip any paint. And then if I just get things set up, then the kid and I can tighten the bolts down later. I know they do it. It's a little tricky trying to get through the frame. I do recall doing that. If you can learn by my mistakes, if anybody ever gets into this, I say in the process of taking the transmission out in the oil pan, I had a block of wood under there on one side, and I thought it was good. I'm not so sure I broke that motor mount or it was broke. We will see when we get it out. I guess what I'm carrying on about is I really have to put a brace across the bottom of these. So the motor mount either broke or I broke it or was broke. I had to straighten the engine back up. My son said, "Oh, that looks awful crooked." And then I see, oh my God, it was hanging by one freaking motor mount. So we just can't. So just that's what happened. It was getting kind of scary, but I jacked her back up carefully, straightened it around, and now I have a block under each side, up wedged between the exhaust manifold and the block on each side. Therefore, I can get the oil pan on, and then I'll actually use the oil pan with a blank or a rag and a block to jack up the rear end or the back of the engine for getting the transmission in when we get it back. Okay, that was a little catch up. Well, I thought I'd get something done. I got my front right bumper brackets all in place. And, so just to confirm, look at it, wild day. First week of March, pretty much 30s and 40s. Like Colombo, got one more thing to bring your attention while you're down here. So I was curious, trying to take care of this, the air conditioning unit. I did look at on YouTube, some guy was rebuilding one of these. Mine, you haven't seen it yet, is in fairly good shape. It's like, let's take a double check on this one. Look at that, see how it looked a laminate. How bad it is, and now I'm going to put it back in there because it just keeps the trunk wetter. But there again, yeah, it doesn't really hurt the trunk, but anything that's metal in there will rust. This car had pretty good life. I think ran a little bit in the winter to rot things out, and then when the guy started working on it, I think he had it. Then it got shoved back outside because a lot of parts were new in here. But it's here got rusty. Put all those pieces of laminate back in the car so they'll dry out in there. You know, oddly enough, the one I have on my car has one layer that's bad. I'll show you later. I think I can re-glue mine, and I'll be happy with it. Though the carpet's bad. Here, I don't know, but we're going to save all them pieces. Watch how these doors shut. So lift it up. Give a little one of these. Still shuts pretty good though. We're going to wet sand this and actually give it a cheap coat of white. If I had an amount of obs and gobs of money, if I restored another one, I would like to have done one white with the white walls. I think they look pretty cool. But the other one looks cool. It's a different kind of cool. But we're going to still kind of play with this one here. And I was doing a little raking spring cleaning, pre-spring cleaning around the. This is so cool, I tell you. Somebody could make something really nice out of this. I think I finally got the brackets figured out. So, this one is going to go over there. This one is going to go over here. And yes, I think I have average intelligence. These do get complicated. Wait till we get to the back ones. Oh my God. I've already actually switched to washers and yeah, I like keeping the same nut with the same washer or the same bolt. And here's the, remember those three bolts at the body mounts to the frame, I believe, underneath there in the trunk. I wire brushed them good, acided them, dried them, wire brushed them again, gave them a shot of black. Just use regular Rust-Oleum black enamel. When they're all in place, then I'll go back sometimes and hit them with some other automotive black enamel. Place one lock washer. It's raining pretty hard, but I think you can hear me over the rain. I spent so much time trying to figure out my issue with these front brackets because it can get a little bit complicated. But it does help that I have a Studebaker parts catalog. Upon closer observation in the pictures, I finally resolved my issue. As I say, between all the removal, sandblasting, priming, painting, what I got wrong is I had this reversed. So this is the wrong way. This is the correct way. So now things are going to move along. Yes, in this day and age, between the cameras and it's much more affordable now to document things better. Everyone that's ever dealt with old cars are very anxious to tear them apart. But when you go put them back together, you spend an enormous amount of time putting things back together. I like to improve on the vehicles, even the Avantis. I don't like that you got these big slots here. Look at that. But yet they don't have any kind of, look at that. There's no kind of, that's awful. They should have a washer on each side of that. Same with the ones that go through the sides here. Well, they didn't have lock washers, which is okay. And there's enough thread, so I did purchase stainless steel, what are they, 7/16 lock washers to make that a little better. And then for these brackets here, they only had one factor. And there again, look at that. That frustrates me that they can't make a washer that fits tighter than that. So you got that, the spacer, and then it just had a nut. And as I say, look how sloppy that is. So I bought some 5/16 stainless steel. I think there's enough threads. I'm going to put a lock washer on it, though it probably wouldn't come loose, but I think there's enough there to please me. It's very frustrating that they don't develop the right size washer to the size of the bolt. For more precision and for gripping and it just should be tighter than that. It's a lot better than that, not having anything. Even the ones on the original ones from the Avanti were, yeah, see how they chuck around? I don't like that. But we're going to have to live with it. I should go through all my old washers and I wonder if find some that do fit better. Okay, enough said. So I am going to improve on it a little bit. Well, if I didn't lose you yesterday trying to explain these front bumper brackets, wait till today. Okay, following up a little bit more, just to explain in more detail, this bracket has an angled up and down adjustment, and the other one has a side-to-side angled adjustment. So that said, and they have these spacers between them, and there again, by just having the nut up against like that, I'm pretty sure these have never been out before, but that's not good at all, especially if you're trying to adjust it and it's kind of catching. Okay, that said, with one arm, crawled under and I got this all set up on the car. Starts to look good. I'm starting to evaluate this outside rubber gasket, grommet, whatever you want to call it, to the fender. Then I go, oh geez, I forgot to put these front bumper grommets in. So these are the original ones, not bad shape, but the one, oh geez, I don't like it because it is deformed a little bit. They're like $20 a piece, 22. So Herm got on the phone. Studebaker International, nice. There's the girls there. If they're too busy, then the guys will take over. But the girls are always very nice on the phone. So they're very patient, accommodating people. Okay, that said, so I got two of those ordered. Took this back off. So I got to wait for those to come in. before I can get back onto the front brackets. And I wanted to point out somewhere, 11/16 on one side and a 5/8 on the other. And the other ones are 5/8 on both sides. I just had to point this one out. Look, somebody must have made this. That's why I find it interesting. See how somebody put this little loop on here? Some guy, well, I don't know whether he had those hanging on his wall like that or what when he used them, but those are the things I find of interest. I wonder what the story is behind that guy. I might as well just move this right over here to the next phase. So while I was waiting on that, I figured, let's start setting things up for the rear bumper brackets. When I took the car apart, a bracket was missing on the rear driver's quarter panel to the outside, I'll say. I can't even say for sure. I think it was Studebaker that I internationally ordered this from. And trying to describe it, as I just did, they sent me this one here. But closer examination shows me that it actually matches the other side. It's like, oh, geez, it's the wrong side. No big deal, because the parts Avanti, what was the number? I keep writing it down. 3956 doesn't have any on them. They've been lost. It's like, well, no, whatever it costs, I forgot, but it's money well spent. We'll stick with the other car. So I got on the phone. Very nice gal. I go, here's a number on this one. I need the opposite of that one for the driver's side. And just to elaborate a little bit more, it's odd because I don't think it was ever on there. I hate to say it, but I think the guys forgot to put one on the car, or they had a problem and gave up trying to hurry up and get the car off the assembly line and the build, because on this original I couldn't see any markings of anything ever being on there. I found that of interest, that I don't think there ever was one. So we're waiting on that. And then I didn't think to ask her. I don't know where I did pick this up. It might have came in one of the cars. The parts catalog, which comes in handy. I didn't know if next time I get on the phone, I say, look at the part number. I wanted part number 1805-16, which would have described the one for this side. So I got on the phone. So that's coming in. She just went by the opposite of whatever their number is. So I don't know if they cross-reference to this or not. Okay, that said, these guys are kind of rough shape. This one's usable. I don't know if I can see it here. The one on the other side was actually broken half. I might just put a bolt in there, see, it's not even a machine thread. So I like to keep using those original ones. So we'll have to look into that a little bit more. Then I thought, well, before I get into the rear brackets, and I thought, well, I better go back and reevaluate the trunk a little bit more, study up on that. So I took about 2 or 3 different clean buckets of water, wiped it out real good. Used a little wire brush, hand brush, and my putty knife, and loose paint. Looked like original black paint down in the wheel well. If I really want to go, if I had more time, maybe in the future, I might actually tape that off and paint that a nice black enamel inside there where the spare goes. But for now, I just cleaned it up real good, oiled up my holes for my 3 bolts, which are over here ready to go. The trunk latch never worked, so I took the wire brush cup carefully in there, and I cleaned up the cable. I put this rag under there because I took some black spray paint so it didn't look rusty. And it's broke. I can tell by pulling on the lever. Fortunately, it's stuck open out here. And I took this latch off to look things over. It never bothered me too much because I didn't bother the trunk. I could just open it any time, even though at least the latch was stuck open. I could have, if it wasn't such a bad shape, I could have heated that up and then worked it a little bit and oiled it, but it's bad, real bad condition. Looked them up for sale, and they're like $90 for that cable. Oh my God! And is too far out. I don't know what the big deal is. And it's a really, looks like a real extensive, stressful job trying to change that cable. It goes up under the carpet in there, and then you see where that blue tape is because I didn't want any black paint sprayed up in there. So we're just going to let that go for now. I'm not going to mess with that. But as I say, I cleaned the trunk out really nice and clean, put our 3 bolts back in, And what was some things I discovered here? Then the ground, there's a ground strap that goes to the antenna in here. Well, that's pretty rusty, but it's okay. So I did sandblast that, and but I did do it with just a rattle can, best rattle can paint, Rust-Oleum black. And then back over here, I am actually putting the bolts right in the back, the same place they came out. And the one I said, I acid, the one was pretty rusty. Boy, she came out nice. Can't see all these little things. I don't know what this is about. This goes through, it holds that bracket, this other bracket down inside there on the wheel well to the antenna. And that bolt goes through into the back side of the inner wheel well. So I guess what I was going to show you, I thought it was just kind of unusual. Oh, the machine thread that comes through the back of the wheel well. You see it in there? There she is right there. How good my camera is. And yeah, it's like it's machine thread, and then it's got like a rubber kind of a grommet around it. I'm not sure what that was all about. Looks like it was factory because it's fiberglass, or I don't know what the object. Have to do a little more thinking on that, but it's in good shape. So I'm just gonna make sure I oil it kind of good, and then I put it back together. There's all my pieces of carpet in all good shape. I guess I should. I am going to wash them, clean them first. Then I'm just going to contact cement them in. We'll do that in a while. Also today I tried to make contact with 2 or 3 members in the roster. They have Avantis that are within my area here to see if somebody could recommend a real reputable automatic transmission guy. I'm really adamant that it's got. I hope it's done right, because once it goes in, it better. I don't want to take her back out. So I did a little calling around on that. I got a couple of responses I got to get back to from club members. Also today, the transmission's one thing I have to get out and start getting it rebuilt. So have it ready for when we get ready for reassembly. The other thing is this starter. I better hurry up and get that out somewhere. Studebaker International says if you send it to them, they can do them for, I think it was $210. This starter worked all right, but sometimes it'd catch, sometimes it wouldn't. I'm gonna ask the starter guy, but I think it's a Bendix or something doesn't kick in sometimes. I'll get a little bit more knowledgeable on that. This place called Strobel's Auto Electric Service in Pavilion, New York, because probably years ago, 5-10 years ago, he rebuilt a starter very similar to this for my Red Seal Continental engine, which is on our water well driller. So I gave him a call, and he says, yeah, they can take care of this. And because I think they're all pretty much, some of those old starters are all pretty much uniform. So I didn't ask him how much, but at least I know I don't have to ship it. That was the advantage. So that's my next thing right now is to get back, get this cleaned up, and then I'm going to take it over to this Strobel's tomorrow. Just wanted to, it's in pretty good shape. It's not real rusty, it just needs good cleaning. And I'm not going to sandblast all that, but I'm going to clean up real good for the guy. Then when I get it back, I will go ahead and paint this nice black enamel with some clear, because I'll have some other pieces coming that'll need painting as well. And I want to hit that nice identification serial plate number, whatever you want to call it. So we're going to do it. I'm just going to give you a little taste. We'll see it. So next, I like this rubbing compound. I don't think it should hurt anything. This also maybe helped him identify the nicer you have it looking for him when you drop it off. I think it'll be a little bit more reasonable on price, because I'm sure they got guys that drop off nasty, greasy stuff. So we're going to clean up some more. Well, just getting going on the starter, and then what a day. And the UPS guy showed up. Real cool guy. Usually they're always a big hurry, but he's a car guy, like talking cars. And I had a little laugh with him because look how nice this box was and everything. See how good it is? Look at this side. See where it's been like We're squished down on the end there. I just got kicked out of it like, fragile glass, handle with care. Because you all that. And I know it's like, hey, Charlie, throw it on truck number 14. Oh, you almost caught it. But no fault of this guy. But and it is packed pretty good and everything. But it's funny how it's got that. I'm going to open it up. I'm going to take a little peek and see what is in there. Should be about $1,000 worth of stuff. One of them being my front caliper pistons, right? And but I'm going to just take a look, and then because it's like Christmas, and then I'm going to get back on that starter. And then when I get done with that, I'm going to go back to putting these few pieces back into the trunk. And then we've got lots of things to work on now. And to mention, this came from Hope, Indiana. I hope it gets here from Indiana without being too damaged. So what was the other thing? And I've never been to Indiana. I'd like to go to their big Studebaker. I think May 5th, Studebaker's got something going on. Someday I'd like to drive out there and drive something kind of cool. I got the starter pretty much ready. You got this little plate here, looks pretty good. I didn't even read it. MDU 702610T. So that's about all I'm going to do with it. At least the guy, I think he'll like it. And then when I get it back, I'll clean her up real good. Again, using a what to wash it with? A gassy sock. I'll clean it up with a gas sock. When she comes back, clean it a little better, and I am going to prime it and paint that when it's rebuilt. Did a little bit on the oil pan just to see what that was about. While we're kind of bringing things together. Unfortunately, it does have a couple little dents. There's no way to repair them, really. See, because you can't get in there and pound them out, and I'm not going to weld on there and pull them out. Or I'm not even going to grind them and fill them with fiberglass. I'm going to live with it. I did notice over wire brushing a little bit that somebody, I think, put black paint over what would be blue paint. So you think that the early oil pan was blue? It seems though the engine, as I recall, I thought was red, and some of them were black, I think, on my 259 into my Hawk. All right, just noticing that. They're going to use that red primer on a lot of stuff, and I've heard guys say that they've had trouble painting them over it because it's an old lacquer, and I haven't had any problem, but I'm wondering about the left front fender when I did the Avanti. I said it bubbled up and acted really weird, and I could see it was all original. So I don't know if after all, I don't think anything after many years would kind of cure, get to the point where it wouldn't be a problem. But so maybe there is a little something to that. I do understand if you put enamel over, yeah, you got it. Enamel over lacquer it will bother, or lacquer over enamel. They don't get along. I found this Oneida Eagle Crest Vineyard, Hemlock Lake. I got a nice wine bag. I had to cut the insert out of it. So we're going to look real classy when we take this as a guide. I think it's strong enough to carry it. And my book is also available at Eagle Crest Vineyard. That makes you safe, huh? Sure. Okay, good. Can't wait to take that tomorrow and drop that off. And I should have videoed myself opening this box. Because just like it was Christmas. I opened it up, of course, they had it packed really good with paper. Real nice. I already burned it already because I'm trying to heat the place up a little bit. So they had the really nice wrapping paper. Though sometimes I like when they ship it with newspapers from their local state. So see what's going on in different areas. Anyhow, opened it up and had the paper there. And what was laying right on top, I'm going to see if you can see this like I'm seeing it, is the bracket. Oh, man. Like the adage goes, I almost wet my pants because this is a real original one. You can see where you can, those star-shaped washers that sandwich in between them. I can see where you can see the outline of them yet. And I go, wow, that's cool. So, but now I'm going to take you over to let's go over and take a look. Here we go. I think I've talked to them in a few years back when I was getting the 289 crank to change this over, the Hawk. That was 5-10 years ago. I think he said he had a half a dozen parts of Avanti. So I think it's the same place. I'm sure it's a guy. Anyhow, here we go. Oh, the one that the wrong one I got, it really looks nice. I thought maybe was it fabricated? I mean, did they have some shop that they formed these up? It's pretty good. It looks about as exact as you can get. But that one, you think that was somebody's out there calling me a dope. Like, oh yeah, dope. But I don't know if that was it like they had a bunch of these left over from the factory. I think they did. I think they bought out all those. So here we go. So this is the wrong one. It goes to that side. Here's the one they just gave me. Oh man, can't wait to look at. There we go. Yay. Oh, see, it's the opposite angle. So this is the one that goes to this side. There you go. Through the years of that vehicle being going through different hands, pieces get lost. But it's a fairly complete car, the parts car. We'll scrub this guy up right in the sink. Piece of carpet, the one around the trunk latch. It's not going to hurt it none. Pretty good shape, yeah. He's ringing a little bit. Put that out by the wood stove. Everything laid out for the right rear bumper brackets. I was missing bolts. I just went to hardware and got some replacement ones. And I'm going to stress that I put a little oil on these surfaces here. I have to sandblast this yet and paint it with some other black parts. I'm going to wait on that. So when you adjust them, I think they slide a little better. This one I'm not going to bother with these. I don't have any of these, and I'm not going to bother with them. And normally I like to put bolts in to look aesthetically. If you look under the car, you just see the head of the bolt instead of all this nonsense, kind of with the flow of the vehicle. I think it looks better visually when you're putting something, assembling something. But in this case, I got the other side all done, and I got thinking, geez, you'll see, and I'm going to take it down there in a little bit. You can't get behind these with a wrench. I'm going to have to make up a wrench to fit them. So for the brackets to the frame, I'm adding a stainless steel lock washers on all the way around, all four corners of the vehicle. There's plenty of threads on the frame bolt. And same here, as I stated earlier, without having one of these, without having a washer on the back side or front side, look at how they sloppy that is. Studebaker kind of dropped the ball on that one. Should have had a washer on both sides, flat. So all stainless steel. I might touch them up when it's all assembled. I'll probably paint them black, when I get ready to touch things up. And what else was there? I'm still undecided on this here. Are you seeing all this? Yeah. I don't know if I can get these new or not, but yeah, I might actually use a 5/16 bolts because I just don't like those. Okay, I'm on limited mobility because of my left arm. I was out of the sling. The therapist would have a fit if they saw what I'm doing. Okay, there you go. I already touched these up a little bit. Crank that one right down. That's one thing nice. This one here I've left a little bit loose. I can't move it with the racket, but this bracket's kind of loose. Here's the bracket that goes out to the outside quarter panel. And there again, see on the back side I put a stainless steel washer and oil between the two brackets. And if I had my other hand and if I could have my arm in there, I could. So whenever we get ready to set the bumpers up, when the restoration's about done, I'll say. So they're hindering me from getting around the car and working on it. That's when we'll get it all set in place and then tighten those down. But as I say, how do you even get behind them with a wrench? I'll have to kind of cut a wrench or bend, kind of fabricate one. But and also the lock washers are nice because once we start drawing them down, that'll help the whole bolt from spinning. Okay, that's where the lock washers would be nice. And back to here, I think I ordered more shims. I'm going to put a rubber, get over there. I like to put a rubber shim on the inside, and like they had from the factory, I like to put a shim on the outside. And my bracket does seem to be lining up fairly good with the hole, and on the inside it does feel like it's flush with the fiberglass, but just too harsh to put that steel right against that fiberglass. Boy, I guess you would tighten up the bumpers and then do some adjusting. Again here, I've got the front right brackets for the bumper in place. Again, I put oil in here just with your finger, rub some on there, nice. And put these, I'll call them the ninja washers. It's funny. I think that they kind of overdid it as far as these, where they felt that putting those in there, that even with all that drawn down tight, that they were going to help prevent these brackets from moving. And there again, I'm putting stainless steel washers on where I can, lock washers to the frame, and there again, I'm going to switch the direction of these because you can't get at the nuts. And I don't think a lot of people realize, washers do have a certain side when they're made. See how they're punched out? It's got kind of a smooth edge. I always stress for the ultimate, just have the flattest side down. Just looks nicer. It's got more of a rounded edge. And there again, we're going to take a little peek under there. I thought they were overly designed to put them in the spacers in there. But here's a problem I'm going to show you on the car. Here's my original one, front bumper rubber grommets. Where are we? Over here. They're in fairly good shape, but I ordered new ones, exact reproductions, $22 a piece. But I'll show you what the issue I have with those. Here's the right side all set up, and I just can't point things out good because this freaking sling. You can see this. I do see that you can get a wrench on the back side of those adjustment bolts, so I am going to reverse those. I just like to see the head of the bolt. I don't like seeing, let's just say, all that other nonsense. So we're going to reverse those. Right now it's loose. I can't wiggle it around for you. And same thing here. I think there's enough room to put a little rubber gasket on the inside and also one on the outside. And then I'm going to go on to show you what the issue is I'm having with these. Make sure your grommet's on first. And the other thing, having the headlights out was kind of nice. Gave you a little bit more of a, gave you an access hole. Jeez, I can't put her up there with this hand. Let's see what we can do here. Okay, got the grommet in place. See that? It's just like the original. But look at the top of the grommet. It's got a space up there. I've already done the other side. I'll slide over there. See what I mean? If these were, when these were made, they should have centered it better. That irritates me. I'm going to hurry up and crawl over here and show you. See, look at that. Can you see it way up at top? Oh, where's my pointer? You can see it, I think, on the top of the bracket up there. See the space? I'm pretty sure I'm doing everything correct. See it? It doesn't, and I say, I guess anybody can comment on any of this stuff. Please, anything I said, correct me. I'm okay with that, or what you learned. But I don't see what am I doing wrong here? They definitely don't go the other way. See what I mean? In order to fit down nice, in order to fit flush, and you got this little hunk of rubber overhanging, and it's short on the top. And I think that's the way it is. I should have took more notice of that when I dismantled the vehicle. So that's something that even though it's maybe exact a reproduction of those rubbers, they should have, you can see the top of it here. Though you'll never see it, I don't think anybody ever noticed. Okay, that's all I'm going to do on the brackets for now. And then later on we'll be putting the bumpers on. We'll get back into it. And often you'll hear me referring to myself as a dope. I don't mind admitting that. You'll learn by my mistakes. I had the right front all assembled like I showed you earlier the other day, only to find out I forgot to put this on. So I had to take everything off on the right front because this won't slip. I'm pretty sure it won't slip around there. Maybe if you oil it all up good. Yes, put on your rubber grommet first and install it. And I am interested, or find it of interest, this bracket that they sent me from Studebaker International. I say I was all excited because it looked like it had been around a while. It had this kind of a vintage looking tag on here. I say I wire brushed it first before I sandblast it. As I say, I can't see any, like my other ones, you could see markings from the Ninja washer. This one, it looks like, so is that like to call, is that new old stock? Like they had that somewhere in the warehouse? But yet the wrong one they sent me, that looked like brand new. Never been, look at that, The numbers on it was 155-7208, and I see this one here does have 155-709, meaning the other side. But like through the years, though, for some reason this number is crossed out. I'm going to ask the girls at Studebaker International, what is the deal? They buy a whole bunch of some old stock from somewhere and they reselling it, or are they making some up? It's exciting just to see these brackets on. That was a major hurdle in this restoration. Here's the right rear quarter one. There, see this here? Leave it a little loose so we're really ready to go. And I did have to elaborate a little bit more. This bracket here, if anybody's been done this one before, right here. Man. Don't think that was, I hate knocking off the paint, but don't think that was an easy task getting those out of there, because I wanted to sandblast them and paint them. But they're, even when I sandblast them, look how they're still tight. Then as I get it in there, I just hit the camera. This bolt is a real, you know what. You got to line that up. Best I could do was on the other side, I used a Phillips head screwdriver, try to line it up and wiggle it up and down, tap it. And you'll finally get that bolt through, but it's another difficult piece in the rear brackets for the bumpers. So that's exciting. What was I going to say? I have nothing against you hoity-toity guys out there in the Studebaker Avanti Club that could hire all your restoration out. I'm okay with that. But there's very few of, and I'm a member of the club, but there's very few of us that can actually say that we belong to the, yes, I've removed all the brackets from a Studebaker Avanti, sandblasted them, primed them, and painted them and put them back on. Because that is what I've heard people say it was a job, and yes, it is. And I was, remove the brackets, sandblast them, prime them, paint them, and put them back on club. I bet there's only a few of us that have gone through this, and it is quite a task. And I was fortunate because a lot of the bolts that I removed, I didn't have to use my heating torch to get in these really problematic places up in there without burning up the fiberglass. Man. So, big deal today.